Russia, a name that resonates with a sense of grandeur and enigma. It is a country that stretches across two continents, Europe and Asia, and is home to a rich tapestry of cultures, languages and histories, a name that evokes a sense of mystery, power and vastness. The very mention of Russia conjures images of majestic cathedrals, sprawling cities, and a landscape that seems to go on forever. It is a land of extremes, from the frozen tundras of Siberia to the sun-drenched steppes of the south. The Siberian tundra, with its harsh, icy winds and endless stretches of snow, contrasts sharply with the warm, fertile plains of the southern steppes, where the sun bathes the land in a golden glow. Its history is a tapestry woven with threads of triumph and tragedy, of revolution and resilience. From the rise of the Kievan Rus in the 9th century to the fall of the Soviet Union in the 20th century, Russia's past is marked by periods of great upheaval and transformation. The Russian Revolution of 1917, for instance, was a pivotal moment that reshaped the country's political landscape and had far-reaching consequences for the world. To understand Russia, one must first grasp its sheer scale. Covering over 17 million square kilometers, it is the largest country on Earth, dwarfing even the vast expanses of Canada and China. This immense size has played a crucial role in shaping Russia's identity and its place in the world. Spanning 11 time zones, it is the largest country on Earth. This means that when the sun sets in the western city of Kaliningrad, it is already rising in the eastern region of Kamchatka. The vastness of Russia's territory means that it encompasses a wide range of climates and landscapes, from the Arctic conditions of the north to the temperate forests of the west and the arid deserts of the south. Its geography is as diverse as its history. The Ural Mountains, which run north to south through western Russia, serve as a natural boundary between Europe and Asia. To the west of the Urals lies the European Plain, a region of rolling hills and fertile farmland, while to the east stretches the vast expanse of Siberia, a land of dense forests, rugged mountains and icy tundras. Towering mountains give way to endless plains, while mighty rivers carve their way through the landscape. The Volga River, the longest river in Europe, flows through the heart of Russia, providing a vital waterway for transportation and trade. The Lena River, one of the longest rivers in the world, winds its way through the remote wilderness of Siberia, its waters teeming with fish and its banks home to a diverse array of wildlife. This vastness has shaped Russia's destiny in profound ways. The sheer size of the country has made it difficult to govern and defend, leading to a history of invasions and conflicts. Yet it has also fostered a sense of resilience and self-reliance among the Russian people, who have learned to adapt to the challenges of their environment and to draw strength from their land. It has fostered a sense of isolation and self-reliance, while also fueling an ambition to secure its borders and expand its influence. Throughout its history, Russia has sought to protect itself from external threats by expanding its territory and establishing a buffer zone of allied states. This drive for security has often brought Russia into conflict with its neighbors and has shaped its foreign policy to this day. From the early Slavic tribes to the modern Russian Federation, this land has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the clash of ideologies, and the enduring spirit of its people. The early Slavic tribes, who settled in the forests and plains of Eastern Europe, laid the foundations for the Russian state. Over the centuries, they were joined by other peoples and cultures, creating a rich and diverse mosaic that is reflected in the Russia of today. Join us now as we embark on a journey through the epic history of Russia, from its earliest beginnings to the present day. We will explore the key events and figures that have shaped this vast and complex nation, from the legendary rulers of the Kievan Rus to the revolutionary leaders of the Soviet era, and from the cultural achievements of the Russian Empire to the challenges and opportunities of the modern Russian Federation. Through this journey, we will gain a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped Russia's past and continue to influence its future.
Russia's history is a story of contrasts, a pendulum swinging between periods of great upheaval and relative stability. This vast nation, spanning 11 time zones and encompassing a multitude of cultures, languages, and traditions, has always been a land of extremes. From the icy tundras of Siberia to the bustling metropolises of Moscow and St. Petersburg, Russia's geographical diversity is matched only by the complexity of its historical journey. It is a tale of autocratic Tsars and revolutionary fervor, where the iron grip of rulers like Ivan the Terrible and Peter the Great gave way to the seismic shifts of the Russian Revolution. The Romanov dynasty, which ruled for over 3 centuries, saw both the zenith of imperial power and the depths of national crisis. Tsar Nicholas II, the last of the Romanovs, presided over a nation on the brink of collapse, his reign ending in the chaos of 1917, of imperial expansion and societal collapse. The Russian Empire, at its height, stretched from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean, a testament to its military prowess and strategic ambitions. Yet, this vast expanse was also a source of internal strife, as diverse ethnic groups and social classes struggled for autonomy and recognition. The revolutions of 1905 and 1917 were not just political upheavals, but profound social transformations that reshaped the very fabric of Russian society. Throughout its long and tumultuous past, Russia has grappled with fundamental questions of identity, power, and its place in the world. The debates in the Duma, Russia's parliament, and the speeches of its leaders reflect a nation constantly in search of its true self. Is Russia a European power, or does its destiny lie in the East? This question has haunted Russian thinkers and policymakers for centuries, influencing its foreign and domestic policies. From its origins in the forests and steppes of Eastern Europe, Russia emerged as a major power, its destiny intertwined with that of its neighbors. The early Slavic tribes, the foundation of the Russian state, were shaped by their interactions with the Byzantine Empire, the Mongol hordes, and the kingdoms of Western Europe. These influences forged a unique Russian identity, one that combined elements of both East and West. It has been shaped by both Eastern and Western influences, a crossroads between Europe and Asia. The Russian Orthodox Church, with its Byzantine roots, played a crucial role in the spiritual and cultural life of the nation. At the same time, the Westernization efforts of Peter the Great and Catherine the Great brought European art, science, and philosophy to Russian soil. This blend of traditions is evident in Russia's architecture, literature, and even its political institutions. This unique geopolitical position has often placed Russia at the heart of global conflicts, from the Napoleonic Wars to the Cold War. Napoleon's invasion of 1812, a turning point in European history, was met with fierce Russian resistance, culminating in the burning of Moscow and the eventual retreat of the French army. In the 20th century, the ideological battle between the Soviet Union and the Western powers defined the global order, with Russia playing a central role in events like the Cuban Missile Crisis and the space race. Yet, it has also been a source of immense cultural and intellectual creativity, producing some of the world's greatest literature, music, and art. The works of Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Chekhov have left an indelible mark on world literature, exploring the depths of the human soul and the complexities of Russian society. Russian ballet, with its elegance and precision, has captivated audiences worldwide, while the contributions of composers like Tchaikovsky and Stravinsky have enriched the global musical heritage. In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into the specific periods and events that have defined Russia's historical narrative. We will explore the rise and fall of the Kievan Rus, the impact of the Mongol invasion, the expansion of the Russian Empire, the revolutions of the 20th century, and the challenges of the post-Soviet era. Each chapter will provide a detailed examination of the key figures, events, and ideas that have shaped Russia's journey through history, offering a comprehensive understanding of this enigmatic and fascinating nation. The story of Kievan Rus, the first East Slavic state, is a tale of trade, warfare, and cultural exchange. Founded in the 9th century, Kievan Rus was a federation of Slavic tribes under the rule of the Varangians, a group of Norse warriors. The adoption of Christianity in 988 under Prince Vladimir the Great marked a significant turning point, aligning Kievan Rus with the Byzantine Empire and introducing Byzantine culture and religion to the Slavic peoples. The Mongol invasion in the 13th century brought devastation to Kievan Rus, but it also led to the rise of Moscow as a new center of power. The Mongol Yoke, as it was known, lasted for over 2 centuries, during which the Russian principalities were vassals of the Mongol Empire. This period of subjugation had a profound impact on Russian society, politics, and culture, shaping the development of the Russian state. The rise of Moscow and the establishment of the Tsardom of Russia under Ivan the Terrible marked the beginning of a new era of expansion and centralization. Ivan's reign was characterized by both ruthless consolidation of power and significant territorial gains. His creation of the oprichnina, a state policy that divided the country into two parts, one directly controlled by the Tsar and the other by the boyars, was a controversial attempt to strengthen his rule and suppress opposition. Peter the Great's reign in the late 17th and early 18th centuries brought about a radical transformation of Russian society and government. Determined to modernize Russia and make it a major European power, Peter implemented sweeping reforms in the military, government, and culture. He founded the city of St. Petersburg, which became the new capital and a symbol of Russia's westernization. Peter's efforts to introduce Western technology, education, and customs had a lasting impact on Russian society. Catherine the Great continued Peter's legacy, further expanding the Russian Empire and promoting the Enlightenment ideals of reason and progress. Her reign saw the annexation of Crimea, the partitioning of Poland, and significant cultural advancements. Catherine corresponded with leading European intellectuals such as Voltaire and Diderot, and sought to bring the principles of the Enlightenment to Russia. Her efforts to modernize the Russian legal system and promote education were part of a broader vision to transform Russia into a leading European power. The 19th century was a period of significant social and political change in Russia. The abolition of serfdom in 1861 by Tsar Alexander II was a landmark event aimed at modernizing the Russian economy and society. However, the transition from a feudal system to a more industrialized and urbanized society was fraught with challenges. Intellectuals and reformers, such as Alexander Herzen and Leo Tolstoy, grappled with the complexities of Russian identity and the need for political and social reform. The early 20th century was marked by growing unrest and revolutionary fervor. The Russian Revolution of 1905, sparked by widespread discontent with the autocratic regime, led to significant political changes, including the establishment of the Duma. However, the underlying social and economic issues remained unresolved, setting the stage for the more radical upheavals of 1917. Tsar Nicholas II's attempts to maintain control were increasingly ineffective, as the pressures of World War I exacerbated the existing tensions. The Russian Revolution of 1917 was a watershed moment in Russian history, leading to the overthrow of the Romanov dynasty and the establishment of the Soviet Union. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power in October 1917, promising to create a socialist state based on the principles of Marxism. The subsequent civil war between the Red Army and the White Army resulted in the consolidation of Bolshevik control and the creation of a new political and economic system. The Soviet era was characterized by rapid industrialization, collectivization of agriculture, and the establishment of a totalitarian regime under Joseph Stalin. Stalin's policies led to significant economic growth, but also caused widespread suffering, including famines, purges, and forced labor camps. The Soviet Union emerged as a global superpower, playing a central role in World War II and the subsequent Cold War. The ideological battle between communism and capitalism defined much of the 20th century, with the Soviet Union at the forefront of the struggle. The Cold War era saw intense rivalry between the Soviet Union and the Western powers, particularly the United States. This period was marked by a series of proxy wars, nuclear arms race, and significant scientific achievements, such as the space race. The launch of Sputnik in 1957 and Yuri Gagarin's historic spaceflight in 1961 were symbols of Soviet technological prowess and a source of national pride. However, the economic and political challenges of maintaining a superpower status eventually led to the decline of the Soviet Union. The reforms of Mikhail Gorbachev in the 1980s, known as perestroika, restructuring, and glasnost, openness, aimed to address the systemic issues within the Soviet Union. Gorbachev's policies led to greater political freedom and economic liberalization, but they also exposed the deep-seated problems within the Soviet system. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent collapse of communist regimes in Eastern Europe were pivotal moments that signaled the end of the Cold War. In 1991, the Soviet Union itself dissolved, leading to the emergence of the Russian Federation and a new era of challenges and opportunities. The post-Soviet era has been a time of significant transformation for Russia. The transition from a planned economy to a market economy was marked by economic turmoil, social upheaval, and political instability. The 1990s saw the rise of oligarchs, widespread corruption, and a decline in living standards for many Russians. However, the early 21st century brought a period of relative stability and economic growth under the leadership of Vladimir Putin. Russia's role on the global stage continues to evolve as it navigates the complexities of the modern world and seeks to define its place in the international order. Today, Russia remains a nation of contrasts, with a rich cultural heritage and a dynamic society. The legacy of its tumultuous history is evident in its art, literature, and architecture, as well as in the resilience and adaptability of its people. As Russia looks to the future, it continues to grapple with the challenges of modernization, globalization, and geopolitical tensions. Yet, it also draws strength from its past, finding inspiration in the achievements and lessons of its long and storied history. In the following chapters, we will explore these themes in greater detail, examining the key events, figures, and ideas that have shaped Russia's journey. From the ancient roots of Kievan Rus to the modern Russian Federation, we will uncover the stories of triumph and tragedy, innovation and tradition that define this remarkable nation. Join us as we embark on a journey through the history of Russia, a land of contrasts and a nation of enduring significance.
To comprehend the sweep of Russian history, one must first envision its geographical stage. Russia, the largest country in the world, spans 11 time zones and covers more than 17 million square kilometers. Its vast expanse includes a diverse array of geographical features, from towering mountain ranges to expansive plains, and from dense forests to arid deserts. This immense variety in terrain has played a crucial role in shaping the nation's history, culture, and identity. Stretching from the icy Arctic Ocean in the north to the sun-drenched shores of the Black Sea in the south, Russia's geographical diversity is truly staggering. The Arctic Ocean, with its frigid waters and ice-covered expanse, forms the northern boundary of the country. This region is characterized by extreme cold, with temperatures often plunging well below freezing. Despite its harsh conditions, the Arctic is home to a unique ecosystem and has been a vital area for exploration and scientific research. Russia encompasses a staggering variety of landscapes, from the frozen tundras of Siberia to the lush forests of the taiga, and from the rolling plains of the steppe to the rugged mountains of the Caucasus. The country's terrain is as diverse as it is vast. Each of these regions has its own unique climate, flora and fauna, contributing to the rich tapestry of Russia's natural environment. The tundra, with its permafrost and sparse vegetation, contrasts sharply with the dense coniferous forests of the taiga, which are home to a wide variety of wildlife, including bears, wolves and lynxes. These diverse environments have profoundly influenced the country's development, shaping its economy, culture and even its national character. The harsh conditions of the northern regions have fostered a spirit of resilience and endurance among the people who live there. In contrast, the more temperate climates of the southern regions have allowed for the development of agriculture and trade, leading to the growth of prosperous communities and cities. The natural resources found in different parts of the country, from the vast forests of Siberia to the fertile soils of the steppe, have also played a crucial role in Russia's economic development. In the north, the vast expanse of Siberia stretches towards the horizon, a land of frozen tundra, dense forests and formidable winters. Siberia, which covers more than 13 million square kilometers, is one of the most remote and sparsely populated regions in the world. Its harsh climate, with long, bitterly cold winters and short, cool summers, makes it a challenging place to live. Despite these difficulties, Siberia is rich in natural resources, including oil, natural gas, coal and minerals. These resources have been crucial to Russia's industrial growth and economic development. This unforgiving environment tested the limits of human endurance, yet it also held vast reserves of natural resources that would later fuel Russia's industrial growth. The discovery and exploitation of these resources have been a driving force behind the development of Siberia. The construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway in the late 19th and early 20th centuries opened up the region to greater settlement and economic activity. This monumental engineering feat, which stretches over 9,000 kilometers from Moscow to Vladivostok, facilitated the transport of goods and people across the vast expanse of Siberia, linking the region more closely with the rest of the country. Further south, the landscape softens into the rolling plains of the steppe, a sea of grass stretching as far as the eye can see. The steppe, with its fertile soil and relatively mild climate, has been an important agricultural region for centuries. This vast expanse of grassland, which extends from the Black Sea in the west to the Altai Mountains in the east, has been home to various nomadic tribes and settled communities throughout history. The steppes, open terrain and rich pastures have made it an ideal place for grazing livestock, while its fertile soil has supported the cultivation of crops such as wheat, barley and rye. This fertile region became the cradle of Russian civilization, where nomadic tribes grazed their herds and farmers cultivated the land. The steppe has a long and storied history with evidence of human habitation dating back thousands of years. The Scythians, a group of nomadic warriors who lived in the region around the 7th century BCE, are among the earliest known inhabitants of the steppe. They were followed by other nomadic groups such as the Sarmatians and the Huns, who also left their mark on the region. Over time, these nomadic tribes began to settle down and adopt a more agricultural way of life, leading to the development of early Russian civilization. The steppe's open terrain also facilitated trade and cultural exchange, connecting Russia with the wider world. The vast network of trade routes that crisscrossed the steppe, including the famous Silk Road, allowed for the exchange of goods, ideas and cultures between East and West. This cultural exchange had a profound impact on the development of Russian civilization, introducing new technologies, artistic styles and religious beliefs. The steppe's role as a crossroads of trade and culture helped to shape the unique character of Russia, blending elements from both Europe and Asia into a rich and diverse cultural tapestry.
At the heart of Russia's story lies the Slavic people, from whom the nation's name itself derives. Migrating from the forests of Eastern Europe in the early centuries AD, these Slavic tribes settled across the vast plains that would become their namesake. United by language and shared customs, they laid the foundation for a distinct Russian identity. Living in small, self-governing communities, these early Slavs developed a rich oral tradition, filled with myths and legends that reflected their close connection to nature. They were skilled farmers, hunters and fishermen, adapting to the challenges of their environment. Their social structure emphasized kinship ties and communal decision-making. Over time, these scattered Slavic tribes began to coalesce into larger political entities, driven by the need for defense against external threats and the desire for greater economic prosperity. This process of unification would eventually give rise to the first Russian state, a pivotal moment in the nation's history.
Section 5. The Viking Influence. The story of the Vikings and their influence on Russian history is a fascinating tale of exploration, conquest and cultural exchange. It is a story that spans centuries and has left an indelible mark on the region's history and development. As the Slavic tribes consolidated their hold on the Eastern European plains, they were in a period of significant transformation. These tribes, with their rich cultural traditions and complex social structures, were laying the foundations for what would become the Russian state. They were primarily agrarian, living off the fertile lands and engaging in local trade. However, their fragmented nature made them vulnerable to external threats and internal strife. A new force arrived from the north, the Vikings. These seafaring warriors, known for their formidable longboats and unparalleled navigation skills, were on a quest for new lands and opportunities. The Vikings, originating from the Scandinavian regions of modern-day Norway, Sweden and Denmark, were driven by a combination of factors including overpopulation, political instability, and the lure of wealth and adventure.
These Scandinavian seafarers, known in Russia as the Varangians, were not just raiders and warriors. They were also traders, explorers, and settlers. The Varangians played a crucial role in the development of trade routes that connected the Baltic Sea with the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic caliphates. Their presence in the region was a catalyst for economic and cultural exchange, bringing new goods, ideas, and technologies to the Slavic lands. Were renowned for their seafaring prowess, their martial skills, and their entrepreneurial spirit. The Varangians were adept at navigating the complex river systems of Eastern Europe, using their longboats to travel great distances and establish trade networks. Their martial skills were equally impressive, with a reputation for being fierce and disciplined warriors. This combination of seafaring and martial prowess made them formidable allies and adversaries.
Their arrival would have a profound impact on the course of Russian history. The Varangians brought with them not only their military and navigational expertise, but also their cultural practices and social structures. This influence would shape the development of the early Russian state, laying the groundwork for future political and cultural developments. Sailing down Russia's mighty rivers, the Vikings established trading posts and military outposts, creating a network of settlements that facilitated trade and communication across vast distances. These outposts served as hubs of economic activity, where goods from the north, such as furs, amber, and slaves, were exchanged for luxury items from the south, including silks, spices, and precious metals, connecting the region with the Baltic Sea and beyond. The trade routes established by the Vikings were instrumental in integrating the Slavic lands into the broader economic and cultural networks of Europe and Asia. These routes not only facilitated the exchange of goods, but also the flow of ideas, technologies, and cultural practices, contributing to the region's development and prosperity.
They brought with them new technologies, such as shipbuilding and navigation, which revolutionized transportation and trade in the region. The Vikings' advanced shipbuilding techniques allowed them to construct vessels that were both sturdy and agile, capable of navigating the open seas and the shallow rivers of Eastern Europe. Their navigation tools and methods, including the use of the sun compass and the stars, enabled them to undertake long and perilous voyages with remarkable accuracy, as well as a thirst for adventure and conquest. The Viking spirit of exploration and their desire for new territories drove them to venture far beyond their homelands. Their expeditions were not just about raiding and plundering. They were also about discovering new lands, establishing settlements, and forging alliances. This adventurous spirit was a defining characteristic of the Viking culture and played a significant role in their interactions with the Slavic tribes.
One Viking chieftain, Rurik, played a particularly significant role in shaping early Russia. Rurik's leadership and vision were instrumental in uniting the fragmented Slavic tribes and establishing a centralized authority. His legacy would have a lasting impact on the region, influencing the political and cultural development of the early Russian state. Invited by warring Slavic tribes to restore order in their lands, Rurik established himself as ruler of Novgorod in 862 AD. This event marked a turning point in the history of the Slavic lands, as Rurik's rule brought stability and cohesion to the region. Under his leadership, Novgorod became a thriving center of trade and culture, attracting merchants, artisans, and scholars from across Europe and Asia. This event, often considered the birth of the Russian state, marked the beginning of a dynasty that would rule for centuries to come. The Rurikid dynasty, founded by Rurik, would go on to play a pivotal role in the formation of the Russian state, shaping its political, cultural, and social institutions. The legacy of the Vikings in Russia is a testament to the enduring impact of their influence, which continues to be felt in the region to this day. The Viking influence on Russian history is not just a story of conquest and domination, it is also a story of cultural exchange and mutual influence. The interactions between the Vikings and the Slavic tribes led to the blending of traditions, languages, and customs, creating a rich and diverse cultural tapestry. This legacy is preserved in the artifacts, historical records, and cultural practices that continue to be celebrated and studied today. In modern-day Russia, the legacy of the Vikings is still evident in various aspects of culture, language, and traditions. From place names and architectural styles to folklore and festivals, the influence of the Vikings can be seen and felt throughout the region. This enduring legacy is a testament to the profound and lasting impact of the Viking presence in Russia, a legacy that continues to shape the identity and heritage of the Russian people. Scholars and historians continue to study the Viking influence on Russian history, uncovering new insights and perspectives on this fascinating period. Archaeological excavations and historical research have revealed a wealth of information about the interactions between the Vikings and the Slavic tribes, shedding light on the complexities and nuances of their relationship. Museums and cultural institutions play a crucial role in preserving and showcasing this heritage, ensuring that the story of the Vikings in Russia is remembered and appreciated by future generations. Educational programs and community events celebrating Viking heritage are an important part of keeping this history alive. Through reenactments, lectures, and cultural festivals, people of all ages can learn about the Viking influence on Russian history and appreciate the rich cultural legacy that has been passed down through the centuries. These activities not only educate, but also foster a sense of connection and pride in the shared heritage of the region. The rivers that once carried Viking longboats are now traversed by modern-day riverboats, connecting the past with the present. These waterways, which played such a crucial role in the history of the region, continue to be vital arteries of trade and communication. The historical landmarks along these routes serve as reminders of the Viking presence and their enduring influence on the landscape and culture of Russia. Artistic representations and historical documents provide a window into the world of the Vikings and their interactions with the Slavic tribes. These sources offer valuable insights into the daily lives, beliefs, and practices of the Vikings, as well as their impact on the societies they encountered. Modern interpretations of Viking culture through literature, film, and art continue to captivate and inspire, keeping the legacy of the Vikings alive in contemporary culture. The story of the Viking influence on Russian history is a testament to the power of exploration, cultural exchange, and the enduring legacy of a remarkable people. As we reflect on this history, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of our world and the ways in which the past continues to shape our present and future. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time, exploring the Viking influence on Russian history. Section 6. The Byzantine Connection. The Byzantine Empire, often overshadowed by its Western counterpart, the Roman Empire, was a formidable force in its own right. Spanning over a millennium, it was a beacon of culture, religion, and power in the medieval world. Its capital, Constantinople, was not just a city, but a symbol of the empire's enduring legacy. The Byzantine Empire's influence extended far beyond its borders, reaching into the heart of the emerging Russian state. This connection would shape the course of Russian history in profound ways. While the Vikings arrived from the north, another powerful force exerted its influence from the south, the Byzantine Empire. The Vikings, known for their seafaring prowess and warrior culture, were initially seen as raiders and invaders. However, over time, they established trade routes and settlements, integrating with the local populations. The Byzantine Empire, on the other hand, was a sophisticated and cultured civilization with a rich history that traced back to ancient Rome. Its strategic location at the crossroads of Europe and Asia made it a hub of trade, culture, and diplomacy. The interactions between these two distinct cultures would have lasting impacts on the regions they touched.
Centered in Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire was the heir to ancient Rome, a bastion of Christianity and a center of learning and culture. The city of Constantinople, with its magnificent Hagia Sophia, stood as a testament to the empire's architectural and artistic achievements. The Hagia Sophia, with its massive dome and intricate mosaics, was not just a place of worship, but a symbol of the empire's religious and cultural identity. The Byzantine Empire was a melting pot of cultures, where Greek, Roman, and Christian traditions merged to create a unique and enduring legacy. Its scholars preserved and expanded upon the knowledge of the ancient world, making significant contributions to fields such as medicine, philosophy, and theology.
Its connections with the emerging Russian state would have a profound impact on Russia's religious, political, and cultural development. The Byzantine Empire's influence on Russia began with the establishment of trade routes that connected the two regions. These routes facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture. The Byzantine missionaries played a crucial role in spreading Christianity to the Slavic peoples, laying the foundation for the Russian Orthodox Church. The adoption of Christianity by the Kievan Rus' in the 10th century marked a turning point in Russian history, as it brought the region into the fold of Byzantine religious and cultural traditions. This connection would shape the identity of the Russian state for centuries to come.
Trade routes flowed between the Byzantine Empire and the lands of the Slavs, carrying not only goods, but also ideas. The trade routes that connected the Byzantine Empire with the Slavic lands were vital arteries of commerce and communication. These routes facilitated the exchange of a wide variety of goods, including luxury items such as silk, spices, and precious metals. The Slavic traders in turn brought furs, honey, and other local products to the markets of Constantinople. But the exchange was not limited to material goods. Ideas, technologies, and cultural practices also traveled along these routes, enriching both the Byzantine and Slavic cultures. The interactions between these two regions fostered a mutual respect and understanding that would have lasting impacts on their respective histories.
Byzantine missionaries brought with them the Orthodox Christian faith, which would become deeply intertwined with Russian identity. The spread of Christianity to the Slavic lands was a monumental achievement of the Byzantine missionaries. Figures such as Saint Cyril and Methodius played a pivotal role in this process. They not only preached the Christian faith, but also developed the Cyrillic alphabet, which enabled the translation of religious texts into the Slavic languages. This linguistic innovation was crucial in making Christianity accessible to the Slavic peoples, and in fostering a sense of shared cultural and religious identity. The establishment of the Russian Orthodox Church was a direct result of these missionary efforts, and it would become a cornerstone of Russian society and culture.
The Cyrillic alphabet, developed by Byzantine monks Cyril and Methodius, was adopted to transcribe the Slavic languages, further solidifying cultural ties. The creation of the Cyrillic alphabet was a significant milestone in the history of the Slavic peoples. It enabled the translation of the Bible and other religious texts into the Slavic languages, making them accessible to a wider audience. This linguistic development was not just a tool for religious conversion, but also a means of cultural preservation and expression. The Cyrillic alphabet became a symbol of Slavic identity and unity, and it played a crucial role in the development of Slavic literature and scholarship. The work of Cyril and Methodius laid the foundation for a rich tradition of Slavic intellectual and cultural achievements.
The Byzantine Empire also served as a model for early Russian rulers who sought to emulate its imperial grandeur and administrative sophistication. The influence of the Byzantine Empire on the early Russian state was profound and far-reaching. The Russian rulers looked to Constantinople as a model of imperial authority and governance. They adopted Byzantine court rituals, architectural styles, and legal codes seeking to replicate the grandeur and sophistication of the Byzantine Empire. The construction of churches and palaces in the Byzantine style was a testament to this admiration and emulation. The adoption of Byzantine administrative practices helped to centralize and strengthen the Russian state, laying the groundwork for its future expansion and development. This influence can be seen in the adoption of Byzantine court rituals, architectural styles, and legal codes. The Byzantine court rituals, with their elaborate ceremonies and protocols, were adopted by the Russian rulers to enhance their own authority and legitimacy. The architectural styles of the Byzantine Empire, characterized by domes, arches, and intricate mosaics, were emulated in the construction of Russian churches and palaces. The legal codes of the Byzantine Empire, with their emphasis on justice and order, were also adopted and adapted to the Russian context. These influences helped to shape the identity and character of the Russian state, creating a unique blend of Byzantine and Slavic traditions that would endure for centuries. The Byzantine Connection was not just a historical episode, but a foundational element in the development of Russian civilization. Section 7, the Mongol Yoke. The term Mongol Yoke refers to the period in Russian history when the Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, exerted control over the Russian principalities. This era, spanning from the early 13th century to the late 15th century, was marked by significant upheaval, transformation, and adaptation. The Mongol invasion and subsequent domination had profound and lasting effects on the political, social, and economic landscape of Russia. Just as the young Russian state was beginning to find its footing, a new and formidable power emerged from the east, the Mongols. The Mongol Empire, which originated in the steppes of Central Asia, rapidly expanded under the leadership of Genghis Khan. The Mongols were a nomadic people, known for their exceptional skills in horseback riding and archery. Their ability to mobilize quickly and strike with precision made them a formidable force on the battlefield. The emergence of the Mongol Empire coincided with a period of fragmentation and internal strife among the Russian principalities, making them vulnerable to external threats. Led by the legendary Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire swept across Asia, leaving a trail of conquest and destruction in its wake. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, united the Mongol tribes and established a vast empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. His military campaigns were characterized by their speed, efficiency, and brutality. The Mongols employed psychological warfare, spreading fear and terror among their enemies. They also utilized advanced military tactics such as feigned retreats and encirclement to outmaneuver and defeat larger armies. The Mongol conquests brought about significant changes in the regions they subjugated, including the introduction of new administrative practices, trade routes, and cultural exchanges.
In the 13th century, the Mongols turned their attention to Russia, unleashing a period of devastation and subjugation that would leave a lasting mark on the nation's psyche. The Mongol invasion of Russia began in 1237, when Batu Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan, led a massive army into the Russian heartland. The Mongols employed a scorched earth policy, destroying cities, villages, and agricultural lands. The Russian principalities, weakened by internal conflicts and lacking a unified defense strategy, were unable to withstand the Mongol onslaught. The fall of major cities such as Ryazan, Vladimir, and Kiev marked the beginning of the Mongol Yoke. The Mongol invasion resulted in significant loss of life, displacement of populations, and destruction of infrastructure. The psychological impact of the invasion was profound, as the Russian people were subjected to a new and alien form of rule. The Mongol armies, known as the Golden Horde, were renowned for their military prowess, their horsemanship, and their ruthlessness. The Golden Horde, also known as the Kipchak Khanate, was one of the 4 divisions of the Mongol Empire. It was established by Batu Khan and encompassed the western part of the Mongol Empire, including the Russian territories. The Golden Horde maintained a highly disciplined and organized military structure with a focus on mobility and adaptability. The Mongol horsemen, equipped with composite bows and light armor, were capable of covering vast distances in a short period of time. Their ability to conduct rapid and coordinated attacks made them a formidable adversary. The Mongols also employed a sophisticated system of intelligence gathering and communication, which allowed them to anticipate and counter the movements of their enemies. The Golden Horde's dominance over the Russian principalities was maintained through a combination of military force, political manipulation, and economic exploitation.
They conquered Russian cities, imposed heavy tributes, and ruled the land for over 2 centuries. The Mongol rulers, known as Khans, established a system of tribute collection whereby the Russian principalities were required to pay a regular tribute in the form of money, goods, and labor. This system of tribute collection placed a significant economic burden on the Russian population, leading to widespread poverty and hardship. The Mongol administration also implemented a system of indirect rule, allowing the Russian princes to retain their positions of power in exchange for their loyalty and cooperation. This system of indirect rule helped to maintain stability and order in the Russian territories, while also ensuring the flow of tribute to the Mongol rulers. The Mongol Yoke had a profound impact on the development of the Russian state, shaping its political institutions, social structures, and cultural identity. This period, known as the Mongol Yoke, left an indelible mark on Russian history. The Mongol Yoke is often viewed as a period of oppression and suffering, but it also had some positive effects on the development of the Russian state. The Mongol administration introduced new administrative practices, such as the use of written records and the establishment of a centralized bureaucracy. These practices helped to strengthen the Russian state and laid the foundation for the development of a more efficient and effective system of governance. The Mongol Yoke also facilitated cultural exchanges between the East and the West, as the Mongol Empire served as a bridge between different civilizations. The introduction of new technologies, ideas, and cultural practices had a lasting impact on Russian society, contributing to its development and modernization. While the Mongols' rule was harsh, it also had some unintended consequences. The Mongol Yoke forced the Russian principalities to adapt and innovate in order to survive and thrive under foreign rule. The need to pay tribute and maintain a stable relationship with the Mongol rulers led to the development of new economic practices, such as the expansion of trade networks and the establishment of new markets. The Mongol Yoke also contributed to the centralization of political power in Russia, as the Russian princes sought to strengthen their authority and consolidate their control over their territories. The experience of living under Mongol rule also fostered a sense of resilience and determination among the Russian people as they sought to preserve their cultural identity and maintain their independence in the face of foreign domination.
It fostered a sense of unity among the disparate Russian principalities as they were forced to band together against a common enemy. The Mongol Yoke served as a catalyst for the unification of the Russian principalities, as the need to resist Mongol domination led to the formation of alliances and coalitions among the Russian princes. The experience of living under Mongol rule also contributed to the development of a shared sense of identity and purpose among the Russian people as they sought to preserve their cultural heritage and maintain their independence. The Mongol Yoke also played a role in the rise of the Grand Duchy of Moscow, which emerged as a leading power in the Russian territories. The Grand Duchy of Moscow, under the leadership of figures such as Ivan I and Ivan III, gradually expanded its influence and consolidated its control over the Russian principalities, laying the foundation for the future Russian state. It also facilitated trade between East and West, as Russia became a conduit for goods flowing along the Silk Road. The Mongol Empire's control over the vast territories of Eurasia created a stable and secure environment for trade and commerce. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting the East and the West, flourished under Mongol rule, as merchants and traders were able to travel and conduct business with relative safety and ease. The Russian territories, strategically located along the Silk Road, became an important hub for the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. The increased trade and cultural exchanges brought about by the Mongol Yoke had a lasting impact on the development of the Russian economy and society, contributing to its growth and prosperity. The legacy of the Mongol Yoke is complex and multifaceted, reflecting both the challenges and opportunities that arose from this period of foreign domination.
Section 8, The Rise of Moscow. In this chapter, we delve into the fascinating history of how Moscow, as a relatively obscure settlement, transformed into a powerful and influential city that would eventually become the heart of Russia. This journey is marked by strategic decisions, influential leaders, and pivotal battles that shaped the course of Russian history. Amidst the turmoil of the Mongol Yoke, a new power began to rise in the heart of Russia, the Principality of Moscow. The Mongol Yoke, a period of Mongol domination over the Russian territories, was a time of great hardship and depression for the Russian people. However, it was also a period that saw the emergence of Moscow as a significant player on the political stage. The Principality of Moscow, under the leadership of its ambitious rulers, began to carve out a place for itself in the midst of this chaos. Strategically located at the confluence of several rivers, Moscow benefited from its advantageous position as a trading hub. The rivers provided not only a means of transportation, but also a source of sustenance and a natural defense against invaders. The city's location made it a focal point for trade routes that connected various parts of Russia and beyond. This strategic advantage allowed Moscow to grow economically and attract merchants, artisans, and settlers, contributing to its rise as a significant urban center.
Its rulers, known as the Grand Princes of Moscow, skillfully navigated the treacherous waters of Mongol rule, gradually expanding their influence and consolidating their power. The Grand Princes were adept at playing the political game, balancing the demands of the Mongol overlords with the needs of their own people. They used diplomacy, marriage alliances, and military force to extend their control over neighboring territories. Their ability to adapt and strategize was crucial in the gradual rise of Moscow as a dominant power in the region. One key figure in Moscow's rise was Ivan I, also known as Ivan Moneybag. Ivan's reign marked a turning point in the history of Moscow. He was a shrewd and ambitious leader who understood the importance of wealth and influence in consolidating power. His policies and actions laid the groundwork for the future expansion and dominance of Moscow. By shrewdly collecting taxes and currying favor with the Mongol Khans, Ivan amassed considerable wealth and influence. He implemented a system of tax collection that ensured a steady flow of revenue into the coffers of Moscow. This wealth was used to strengthen the city's defenses, build infrastructure, and support the arts and culture. Ivan's ability to maintain a good relationship with the Mongol Khans also ensured that Moscow enjoyed a degree of autonomy and protection from external threats.
Had used his newfound power to expand Moscow's territory, laying the foundation for its future dominance. Ivan's expansionist policies saw Moscow extend its influence over neighboring principalities and territories. This expansion was not just about acquiring land, it was also about spreading Moscow's political and cultural influence. The territories that came under Moscow's control were integrated into its administrative and economic systems, further strengthening the city's position as a major power in the region. Another pivotal figure was Dmitry Donskoy, who challenged the Mongols' military might in the Battle of Kulikovo in 1380. Dmitry's leadership and bravery in this battle earned him a place in Russian history as a national hero. The Battle of Kulikovo was a significant event that demonstrated the growing strength and resilience of the Russian people. It was a symbol of resistance against foreign domination and a rallying point for future generations. Although the battle did not end Mongol rule, it marked a turning point in Russian history, demonstrating that the Mongols were not invincible and igniting a spirit of resistance among the Russian people. The victory at Kulikovo boosted the morale of the Russian people and inspired other principalities to join the struggle against the Mongol Yoke. It was a catalyst for the eventual liberation of Russia from Mongol domination and the rise of Moscow as the leading power in the region. The architectural landscape of Moscow also began to change during this period. The construction of the Kremlin, with its imposing walls and towers, symbolized the growing power and prestige of Moscow. The city became a center of religious and cultural life, with the building of churches and monasteries that showcased the artistic and architectural achievements of the time. These structures not only served as places of worship, but also as symbols of Moscow's emerging identity and influence. The rise of Moscow was also documented in the chronicles and manuscripts of the time. These historical records provide valuable insights into the political, social, and economic developments that shaped the city's growth. They tell the story of a city that, through determination and strategic vision, transformed itself from a minor settlement into the heart of a powerful state. The chronicles highlight the key events and figures that played a role in this transformation, offering a glimpse into the lives and struggles of the people who built Moscow. Trade and commerce played a crucial role in the rise of Moscow. The city's strategic location made it a hub for trade routes that connected different parts of Russia and beyond. Merchants from various regions came to Moscow to trade goods, bringing wealth and prosperity to the city. The markets of Moscow were bustling with activity, with artisans and craftsmen showcasing their skills and products. This vibrant trade network not only boosted the city's economy, but also facilitated cultural exchange and interaction. The military strength of Moscow also grew during this period. The Grand Princes invested in building a strong and disciplined army that could defend the city and its territories. Fortifications were constructed to protect against invasions, and military training became a priority. The rise of a powerful military force was essential for Moscow's expansion and consolidation of power. It enabled the city to assert its dominance over rival principalities and defend its interests against external threats. Diplomacy was another important aspect of Moscow's rise. The Grand Princes were skilled diplomats who forged alliances and negotiated treaties with neighboring states and foreign powers. These diplomatic efforts helped to secure Moscow's position and expand its influence. The ability to navigate the complex web of political relationships was crucial for the city's growth and stability. Through diplomacy, Moscow was able to avoid conflicts, gain allies, and strengthen its position in the region. The cultural and intellectual life of Moscow also flourished during this period. The city became a center of learning and artistic expression, attracting scholars, artists, and writers. The patronage of the Grand Princes supported the development of literature, art, and architecture. This cultural renaissance contributed to the city's prestige and influence, making it a beacon of Russian culture and identity. The achievements in art and literature from this period continued to be celebrated and admired to this day. The rise of Moscow was not just about political and military power, it was also about the people who lived and worked in the city. The daily life of the inhabitants of Moscow was marked by a sense of community and resilience. Despite the challenges and hardships, the people of Moscow worked together to build a thriving and prosperous city. Their efforts and contributions were the foundation upon which the city's success was built. The story of Moscow's rise is also the story of its people, their struggles and their triumphs. Festivals and religious ceremonies played an important role in the social and cultural life of Moscow. These events brought the community together and reinforced a sense of shared identity and purpose. Religious festivals, in particular, were significant occasions that reflected the deep spiritual and cultural values of the people. The celebrations were marked by elaborate rituals, music, dance, and feasting, showcasing the rich cultural heritage of Moscow. These traditions and customs were an integral part of the city's identity and contributed to its cohesion and unity. Education and learning were also important aspects of Moscow's rise. The city became a center of education with schools and institutions that attracted scholars and students from various regions. The pursuit of knowledge and intellectual growth was encouraged and supported by the Grand Princes. This emphasis on education contributed to the development of a learned and cultured society, which in turn played a role in the city's political and cultural achievements. The legacy of this period of intellectual growth continues to influence Russian education and scholarship. The development of a legal system was another key factor in the rise of Moscow. The Grand Princes established laws and courts to maintain order and justice in the city. The legal system provided a framework for resolving disputes and ensuring the rights and responsibilities of the citizens. This contributed to the stability and governance of Moscow, making it a well-ordered and prosperous city. The establishment of a legal system was a significant step in the development of Moscow as a center of power and authority. The economy of Moscow was diverse and dynamic, with agriculture, trade, and craftsmanship playing important roles. The fertile lands around Moscow provided abundant agricultural produce, which supported the city's population and trade. The markets were filled with goods from various regions, and the city's artisans were known for their skills and craftsmanship. This economic diversity and prosperity were crucial for the growth and development of Moscow. The city's economy provided the resources needed for its expansion and the well-being of its inhabitants. Religion played a central role in the life of Moscow. The city was a major center of the Russian Orthodox Church, and its religious leaders wielded significant influence. The construction of churches and monasteries was a testament to the city's spiritual and cultural importance. The religious institutions provided not only spiritual guidance, but also social and educational services to the community. The close relationship between the church and the state was a defining feature of Moscow's rise, contributing to its unity and identity. Family and community life were the bedrock of Moscow's society. The people of Moscow lived in close-knit communities where family ties and social bonds were strong. The support and cooperation within these communities were essential for the city's growth and resilience. The values of family, community, and mutual support were deeply ingrained in the culture of Moscow, and they played a crucial role in the city's success. The story of Moscow's rise is also a story of its people, their values, and their way of life. Innovation and technology also played a role in the rise of Moscow. The city's artisans and craftsmen were known for their skills and ingenuity. They developed new techniques and technologies that improved various aspects of life, from agriculture to construction. The spirit of innovation and creativity was encouraged and supported by the Grand Princes, leading to advancements that contributed to the city's prosperity and growth. The legacy of this period of innovation continues to be seen in the cultural and technological achievements of Russia. Exploration and expansion were also important aspects of Moscow's rise. The city's leaders and explorers ventured into new territories, seeking to expand their influence and control. The exploration of new lands brought new opportunities for trade, resources, and settlement. This spirit of exploration and expansion was a driving force behind Moscow's growth and development. The city's ability to adapt and thrive in new environments was a testament to its resilience and ambition. The resilience and determination of the people of Moscow were key factors in the city's rise. Despite facing numerous challenges and setbacks, the people of Moscow never gave up. They rebuilt and recovered from invasions, disasters, and hardships, always striving to improve their city and their lives. This spirit of resilience and determination was a defining characteristic of Moscow's rise. It was the foundation upon which the city's success was built, and it continues to inspire future generations. The legacy of Moscow's rise is still evident today. The city's historical impact can be seen in its architecture, culture, and institutions. Modern Moscow is a vibrant and dynamic city that continues to play a central role in Russia and the world. The story of its rise is a testament to the vision, determination, and resilience of its people. It is a story that continues to inspire and captivate, reminding us of the power of ambition and the importance of strategic vision in shaping the course of history. Section 9. The Legacy of Empire. As Mongol power waned, the Grand Princes of Moscow began to see an opportunity. The Mongol Empire, once a formidable force that had dominated vast territories, was now in decline. This decline created a power vacuum, and the Grand Princes of Moscow were quick to capitalize on it. They adopted expansionist policies, seeking to unite the fragmented Russian lands under their rule. This period marked the beginning of a significant transformation in the region's political landscape. The Grand Princes of Moscow, through strategic marriages, military conquests, and shrewd diplomacy, gradually expanded their influence. They understood that to consolidate power, they needed to bring the disparate Russian principalities under a single banner. This was no easy task, as the region was rife with internal conflicts and external threats. However, the Grand Princes were determined and relentless in their pursuit of unification. They fortified Moscow, turning it into a stronghold that could withstand sieges and serve as a center of power. By the late 15th century, their efforts began to bear fruit. In 1480, Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great, ascended to the throne. Ivan was a visionary leader with grand ambitions. He recognized that the time was ripe to assert Moscow's dominance and free the Russian lands from Mongol control. Ivan embarked on a series of military campaigns to subdue rival principalities and expand his territory. His leadership was instrumental in the unification of Russia, laying the foundation for a centralized state. Ivan III, known as Ivan the Great, was a pivotal figure in Russian history. His reign marked a turning point as he successfully threw off the shackles of Mongol domination. Ivan's declaration of independence from the Mongols was a bold and decisive move. He proclaimed himself the Tsar of all Rus, a title that signified his authority over the entire Russian territory. This declaration was not just a political statement, it was a symbol of national pride and a rallying cry for the Russian people. The end of Mongol rule was a momentous event in Russian history. It marked the beginning of a new era, one in which Russia would chart its own course. Ivan the Great's declaration of independence was a testament to his vision and determination. He understood that true sovereignty required not just military might, but also a strong and unified state. Under his leadership, Moscow became the heart of the Russian Empire, a center of political, economic, and cultural power. Declaring himself Tsar of all Ruses, Ivan the Great established a new political order. The title of Tsar was more than just a designation. It was a symbol of absolute authority and divine right. Ivan's reign set the stage for the future expansion of the Russian Empire. His policies and reforms laid the groundwork for a centralized administration, a professional army, and a cohesive national identity. The Tsardom of Russia was born, and with it, a new chapter in the history of the region. This marked the birth of the Tsardom of Russia, a vast empire that would stretch from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean. The Tsardom was characterized by its vast and diverse territories encompassing a multitude of cultures, languages, and religions. The rulers of Russia faced the daunting task of governing this sprawling realm, but they were driven by a sense of destiny and ambition. The expansion of the Russian Empire was fueled by a combination of military conquest, strategic alliances, and colonization. The Russian Empire's expansion was a complex and multifaceted process. It involved not only the annexation of new territories, but also the integration of diverse peoples into the imperial framework. The rulers of Russia implemented policies aimed at consolidating their power and promoting a sense of unity among their subjects. This included the promotion of the Russian Orthodox Church, the establishment of a centralized bureaucracy, and the development of infrastructure to facilitate communication and trade across the vast empire.
The legacy of empire would profoundly shape Russia's destiny for centuries to come. The Tsardom of Russia evolved into a powerful and influential state, playing a significant role in the geopolitical landscape of Europe and Asia. The legacy of the empire was not just about territorial expansion, it was also about the development of a distinct Russian identity and culture. The rulers of Russia sought to project their power and influence through grand architectural projects, patronage of the arts, and the promotion of Russian language and literature. It fueled a sense of national pride and ambition, driving Russia to expand its borders and assert its influence on the world stage. The Russian Empire's achievements in science, art, and literature were celebrated as symbols of national greatness. The construction of iconic landmarks, such as the Kremlin and St. Basil's Cathedral, showcased the empire's architectural prowess and cultural heritage. These symbols of power and prestige reinforced the idea of a strong and unified Russian state, driving Russia to expand its borders and assert its influence on the world stage. The Russian Empire's military campaigns extended its reach into Central Asia, the Caucasus, and Eastern Europe. These conquests were often accompanied by efforts to assimilate the conquered peoples into the Russian cultural and administrative framework. The expansion of the empire brought new resources, trade opportunities, and strategic advantages, but it also posed significant challenges in terms of governance and integration, and assert its influence on the world stage. The Russian Empire's diplomatic efforts were aimed at securing alliances, negotiating treaties, and establishing a presence in international affairs. Russian diplomats played a crucial role in shaping the empire's foreign policy and navigating the complex web of European politics. The establishment of embassies and consulates in key cities around the world facilitated diplomatic relations and promoted Russian interests abroad. However, it also came at a cost, as the pursuit of imperial grandeur often led to costly wars, internal repression, and the exploitation of conquered peoples. The expansion of the Russian Empire was marked by numerous conflicts, both external and internal. Wars with neighboring states, such as the Ottoman Empire and Sweden, drained resources and inflicted heavy casualties. Internal rebellions and uprisings, fueled by discontent with imperial policies, posed a constant threat to stability, as the pursuit of imperial grandeur often led to costly wars, internal repression, and the exploitation of conquered peoples. The Russian Empire's efforts to maintain control over its vast territories often involved harsh measures. Political repression, censorship, and the suppression of dissent were common tactics used by the rulers to quell opposition. The exploitation of natural resources and labor in the conquered regions further exacerbated tensions and contributed to social and economic disparities, and the exploitation of conquered peoples. The diverse populations within the Russian Empire faced varying degrees of assimilation and discrimination. While some groups were integrated into the imperial administration and military, others were marginalized and subjected to oppressive policies. The empire's expansion brought about significant cultural exchanges, but it also led to the erosion of local traditions and identities. The legacy of these policies continues to shape the social and cultural landscape of the region.
In the centuries that followed, Russia's Tsars would grapple with the challenges of governing a vast and diverse empire. The rulers of Russia faced the daunting task of maintaining control over a sprawling territory that spanned multiple time zones and encompassed a wide range of cultures and languages. The centralization of power in the hands of the Tsar was both a strength and a weakness, as it allowed for decisive leadership but also created a rigid and often oppressive system of governance. They would undertake ambitious reforms, wage wars of conquest, and confront internal rebellions, all in an effort to secure their power and maintain their grip on this sprawling realm. The history of the Russian Empire is marked by a series of significant reforms aimed at modernizing the state and improving its administrative efficiency. These reforms often met with resistance from conservative elements within society, leading to periods of intense social and political upheaval. The Tsars also engaged in numerous military campaigns to expand and defend the empire's borders, further straining the state's resources, all in an effort to secure their power and maintain their grip on this sprawling realm. The legacy of the Russian Empire is a complex and multifaceted one, characterized by both achievements and challenges. The empire's expansion brought about significant economic and cultural developments, but it also created deep-seated social and political tensions. The rulers of Russia navigated these challenges with varying degrees of success, leaving behind a legacy that continues to influence the region to this day. The story of the Russian Empire is a testament to the enduring impact of imperial ambition and the complexities of governing a diverse and expansive realm. Section 10. Towards the future. As we embark on this journey, we look ahead to the future while reflecting on the past. Russia, a nation with a rich and complex history, stands at a crossroads. Its path forward is shaped by the echoes of its past and the aspirations of its people. From its humble beginnings, as a collection of Slavic tribes scattered across the vast expanse of Eastern Europe and Northern Asia, Russia has evolved through centuries of transformation. These early tribes, with their unique cultures and traditions, laid the foundation for what would become one of the world's most influential nations. To its emergence as a global superpower, Russia's journey has been marked by periods of both remarkable achievement and profound upheaval. The Soviet era in particular saw Russia rise to prominence on the world stage, asserting its influence through military might, scientific advancements, and ideological battles. Russia's journey has been marked by periods of both remarkable achievement and profound upheaval. The space race, for instance, showcased Russia's scientific prowess with milestones such as the launch of Sputnik and Yuri Gagarin's historic flight. Yet these achievements were often juxtaposed with internal strife and economic challenges, reflecting the duality of progress and hardship. Its history is a testament to the resilience of its people, who have endured wars, revolutions, and political upheavals. The Russian spirit, characterized by a deep sense of community and perseverance, has been a constant through the ages. From the serfs of the Tsarist era to the citizens of the Soviet Union and modern-day Russia, the strength and determination of the Russian people have been unwavering. The enduring legacy of its past, which is etched into the very fabric of the nation. Monuments, cathedrals, and historical sites stand as silent witnesses to the events that have shaped Russia's destiny. These landmarks, from the grandeur of the Kremlin to the solemnity of the battlefields, tell the story of a nation that has weathered countless storms and the complex interplay of factors that have shaped its destiny. Geography, politics, culture, and external influences have all played a role in the evolution of Russia. The vastness of its territory, the diversity of its people, and the strategic importance of its location have made Russia a focal point of global history.
In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into the specific events and individuals that have shaped Russia's historical narrative. Each chapter will uncover the layers of history, revealing the stories of those who have left an indelible mark on the nation. We will delve deeper into the specific events and individuals that have shaped Russia's historical narrative. From the legendary figures of Russian folklore to the revolutionary leaders of the 20th century, we will explore the lives and legacies of those who have influenced the course of Russian history. We will explore the rise and fall of dynasties, the impact of revolutions, and the enduring themes that have shaped this vast and enigmatic nation. The Romanovs, the Bolsheviks, and the leaders of the Soviet Union each played pivotal roles in the nation's history, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate today. And the enduring themes that have shaped this vast and enigmatic nation. Themes of power, resilience, and transformation are woven throughout Russia's history, reflecting the nation's ability to adapt and endure in the face of adversity.
From the reign of Ivan the Terrible, whose rule marked the beginning of centralized power in Russia, to the transformative years of Peter the Great, who sought to modernize and westernize the nation, Russia's history is a tapestry of ambition and change. To the Bolshevik Revolution and beyond, which brought about a seismic shift in the political landscape. The revolution of 1917 not only ended centuries of imperial rule, but also set the stage for the rise of the Soviet Union, a period marked by both great achievements and profound challenges. We will trace the threads of continuity and change that have woven together the tapestry of Russian history. Each era, from the Tsarist autocracy to the Soviet regime and the post-Soviet transition, has contributed to the complex and multifaceted identity of Russia. Join us as we continue our exploration of this captivating land, its tumultuous past, and its uncertain future. As we look towards the future, we will consider the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for Russia. The nation's journey is far from over, and its future will be shaped by the choices and actions of its people. Together, we will uncover the stories that define Russia and contemplate the possibilities that await this remarkable nation.